Hello, it's Dumbass Gamer and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little different. So for a while now, as you've probably gathered if you've watched any of my other videos, I've been wanting to talk about my favourite animes, and I didn't like the idea of doing a video like this with like the camera set up in front of me and just talking. Something about that doesn't sit right with me, so I've settled with what I'm about to do for this video. I've never done anything like this before, so bear with me, but today I'm going to be counting down my top favourite anime comedies. So, that aside, let's get started. So I'm going to start off with number 7, Love, Shunibyo and Other Delusions. Now I do apologise if I'm pronouncing Shunibyo wrong, I'm pretty stupid. Love, Shunibyo and Other Delusions is a wholesome, silly anime with one of the protagonists, Rika, being a Shunibyo, which is basically a Japanese term typically used to those who are under the delusion they have hidden knowledge or secret powers. In the series, we follow what Rika gets up to in her daily life and what she sees through her delusions. Beware, though, it does get very sad and emotional. As it happens, Rika uses being a Shunibyo as a coping mechanism, and there's also a little love story though between Rika and Yuta, and Yuta is basically like the second protagonist, the love interest, and he also used to be a Shunibyo, but he's very ashamed of it and moved schools because of this. The anime is definitely a comfort one for me, more of a comfort than a comedy actually, and despite the really sad scenes, it is very funny at times, and I'd definitely recommend you to give it a watch if you like cute little romances, or maybe if you relate to the whole Shunibyo situation, because I kinda do, not gonna lie. Anyway, oversharing aside, let's move on to number 6, Haikyuu. Now I know what you're thinking. Haikyuu is a sports anime about volleyball. Where's the comedy in that? Well, yeah, it is exactly that, but the amount of funny moments and scenes puts this in the comedy list for me. Personally, I'm not that hyped about sports anime, but the characters' personalities and ambitions makes the anime enjoyable. For context, the protagonist, Hinata, is a short dude who loves volleyball. He gets put down and judged due to his height and dream, but like every protagonist, he doesn't let anyone bring him down. If you love sports anime and a good laugh, definitely give this a watch. However, if you do like sports anime, you've probably already watched this one, it's very popular to be fair. Next up, number 5, The Royal Tutor. The Royal Tutor wasn't what I expected from reading the title. I found the manga in the library of The Royal Tutor, and well, I loved it. I ended up finding the anime on Crunchyroll and binge watching it. To summarise, this anime begins with Professor Hein, a very small but highly intellectual teacher. Due to his appearance and small size, he is constantly mistaken as a child to his dismay. He was called by the queen to tutor her 4 boys, so they become worthy of the throne. Naturally, the 4 princes are right little cretins, and they underestimate Professor Hein, assuming he's like their previous professors. Despite their attempt to intimidate him, Hein doesn't budge. Surprisingly though, all 4 princes take a liking to Professor Hein over time as he helps them through loads of struggles, and they develop as people and capable of the throne thanks to Professor Hein. Throughout the series, there's a lot of funny moments, and the princes can be very relatable at times with their flaws and little quirks that they've got. And I would definitely recommend this anime if you just want to watch something and chill. You know, it's kind of a no-brainer in my opinion. It's very funny. It can also be quite wholesome as well at times. So yeah, it's quite short anime as well, very easily binged. Moving on to number 4, The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. Now, this is an anime full of chaotic and funny moments. The story follows the protagonist, Kusuo Psyche. Kusuo is basically the closest thing to God in his world. He can do telekinesis, mind control, shape shifting, clairvoyance, and a bunch of other stuff. Kusuo doesn't know why he was born the way he was, but he strives for an average, normal, peaceful life. However, his classmates make that very hard to achieve with their chaotic shenanigans. If you love a good laugh and chaos, give it a watch. It can be hard to follow due to the, like how chaotic it can get. It's a bit much, but I think the chaos just makes it even more funny. Number 3, Himoto Umaru-chan. Himoto Umaru-chan has been one of my favourite animes for a good few years now. It's definitely in the wholesome and comedic lane of anime. For context, this anime starts off with a young teenage girl, Umaru. She is the perfect school student. She's pretty, kind, and popular. She gets perfect grades and is good at pretty much everything she does. But when she's home, she shrinks, lazes around, eats, watches anime, and plays games and naps all day. And when she goes anywhere, she usually is in disguise so she can enjoy gaming competitions and visit in the arcade. Throughout the anime, she becomes closer to her friends, and even in her chibi Umaru form, she's there for them. However, her friends do believe that it's Umaru's little sister, not Umaru, but we don't talk about that. It's very funny and relatable. It really gets in touch with the whole idea that, you've got a different side for when you're talking to people and you're around people, and then when you're at home. And I would highly recommend this if you just want something heartwarming and happy to watch, because it's not very depressing or anything. It's got basically no sad scenes in my opinion. Everything is wholesome and heartwarming, so definitely recommend if you just need a little cheer up. Anyway, moving on to number 2, Handa-kun. Handa-kun is actually a recently discovered anime for me. It's very underrated in my opinion because I stumbled upon it by scrolling endlessly through Crunchyroll. Like, seriously, I'm not joking. I had to scroll a lot to come across that. And I'd never came across it before. But with the chaos of the other characters, like in the show, it reminded me a lot of The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. Like, it was the same vibe in my opinion. So if you've watched Psyche K and enjoyed that, I'd highly recommend you watch Handa-kun. For summary, the anime is about Handa, a young student who is under the impression that everyone hates him and therefore acts and comes off as unapproachable and cold, but the situation is quite the opposite. Everyone thinks he's really cool and kind. They all kinda look up to him, and his classmates love him so much that they made a fan club for him. Their love for Handa-kun is actually really weird at some points, and that's what makes it so funny. It's the fact that Handa-kun is completely oblivious to all this as well, which is also quite amusing because it is rather obvious from the viewer's perspective. It does get wholesome at times as well, and Handa-kun always says the right things to people, making him way more admirable. I think it would be a relatable anime to a lot of insecure people or people who overthink, and I'd definitely give it a watch because it's just really good. Just watch it. Shut up and watch it. Moving on to the number 1 spot, Romantic Killer. This is a very new anime actually, and it's only came out last week. And I didn't expect to like it as much as I have. Romantic Killer is a Netflix original adaptation of 12 episodes, and I watched it in a day, and I haven't binged an anime like that in a very long time. So the story follows Anzu Hoshino, a high school girl who only has time for her three greatest desires: games, her cat Momoko, and chocolate. When attempting to play a dating simulator, an odd-looking creature claiming to be a wizard appears named Riri. Anzu gets her three favourite things confiscated until she pursues a loving relationship. And this is due to the plummeting birth rate in Japan, therefore the wizards of Riri's world are all choosing people like Anzu to find partners for quote-unquote the future of Japan. Anzu is naturally outraged by this, but from that point onwards, she makes new friends, and the viewer gets to see how good of a person and character she is. This is on my list of comedic animes because of how much a lot of the scenes made me laugh. I don't usually laugh that much at anime. Like, I might have a little giggle or a little but I've never laughed the way I have to an anime the same way I have with Romantic Killer, if that makes any sense. It was a refreshing surprise, and it's not as cliche as you may think it is. I will warn you, there are some dark scenes, but in my opinion, they're kind of mild compared to some anime I've watched. But pretty much all of the episodes have like so many funny moments. I already want to rewatch it with the added bonus of a season 2. So just go watch it already. I highly recommend it. I've been obsessing over this anime for the past few days. I haven't stopped thinking about it since I watched it. Anyway, that was pretty much the end of this list. So thank you so much for watching if you did, or listening, I guess. And I plan to make a mini series where I go through my favourite anime through genres, if that makes sense. So basically it'll be horror anime, and then there'll be, I don't know, romances and stuff like that. And yeah. So stay tuned for this mini series I've got planned. I hope the video and the editing wasn't too terrible, and I'm so sorry if I stumble upon my words and stutter and stuff. That's just never gonna leave. But anyway, thanks for watching, and bye bye.